There are thousands of black immigrants in Ukraine. Many move there for better quality of life, affordable education, but while trying to leave, we've shown you the footage of them being subjected to racist abuse at the border. Joining us now is Joyce Davis. She's the president CEO of the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg. She's joining us this morning to talk more about this. Ukraine and the United Nations have acknowledged the racism black people are experiencing while fleeing Russia's attacks. What do you make of the treatment? Did it surprise you? I guess I want to start there.
Well, I can't say it surprised me. All over the world, there's racism, one form or another, and we all know that African American, that Africans, Black people, are subjected to abuse around the world. And in this part of the world, it does not surprise me. I lived in the Czech Republic for 5 years, and most of the people there were quite lovely, quite wonderful, and I felt freer there. But in places like Ukraine and in Russia, you will get some negativity, to be sure.
Well, so, Ms. Davis, in the 19th century, Europeans settled in Africa through violence and destruction. What do you have to say about the historical context here? Does that play out currently?
Oh, do you mean with regard to how blacks are treated in this part of the world, or the historical context of where we are with almost world destruction now? Because we're looking, as Zelensky has
Yeah.
stated, we're looking at really the outbreak, I think, of another world war unless something is done to control Vladimir Putin. We have seen, look, with pandemic, that what happens in one part of the world eventually comes to your part of the world and eventually comes to all people. I don't know how much clearer COVID could have made that. But what is going on right now in the Ukraine with unchecked aggression, unchecked bullying from what appears to be a madman, that is going to affect everybody. And it's eventually going to affect the United States and Americans. Unless something is done very soon, as we see, if anyone attacks a nuclear power plant, as the allegations are now, that is not just going to affect Ukraine. As Zelensky has said, that's going to affect all of Europe. And all of Europe means the United States is not going to be able to sit back and sit by while this part of the world is destroyed.
What about Russia as they continue this illegal invasion here, and how they will treat black Ukrainians, black students, blacks in the country?
Well, let me just say this, that as we know, Russia has a relationship with Africa. I mean, there are many blacks who are living in Russia. We look back to the history. You have had Pushkin, for example, who was a famous writer, a historic writer in Russia. So there is a heritage, a black heritage in Russia. That being said, there is this undercurrent of racism that is there, and that frankly will put some people at risk for sure. That being said, as you can see, Russia is not, I mean, these are white people Russia is attacking. These are supposedly people that are their cousins or their brethren and sistren, right? And they're still attacking a nuclear power plant that could have devastating effects. So I'm not sure this is a racial war. This is a real war of humanity.
And given your experience, what do you see as the end game here? How do you believe this will play out? And it's really an unfair question because if global leaders could figure that one out, perhaps some of this could be avoided. But when you talk about the global leaders sticking together and the way they've responded here, how do you see it playing out?
Sharon, that's the right thing to do, to think ahead. What is this going to mean? What does this mean for world leadership? I have been thinking about this deeply, having worked with Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. I was in charge of broadcast services that included broadcast services into Ukraine when it was trying to pull away from the Soviet Union. But what this means is we have got to figure out a way in this world that there is some sort of police force, some sort of peacemaking or peacekeeping force that will move in when there are madmen like this who seek to destroy other countries. It shouldn't be left just to the United States. It can't be left just to a few countries who are affected in the perimeter. We've got to have a global force that is ready to move in to stop this kind of thing. If we don't get with that and learn that lesson now, we may not get a second chance. This may be the last chance to
Mhm.
save our universe. We were worried about climate change, right? This is real climate change. You've got somebody who
Yeah,
thinks they can just go. And let me ask you this: do you think he would stop at Ukraine? Does anybody think
yeah, no,
Vladimir Putin, if he's able to get away with this, would stop at Ukraine? What do bullies do? They just keep bullying until somebody
yeah,
steps up to
and
stop.
well, and that's exactly it, because for so long, the world has had its eye towards North Korea, other spots, but Russia, really still superpower and with an arsenal at his fingertips of nuclear weapons. Vladimir Putin. Joyce Davis, President, CEO of the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for starting your day with us.
I thank you for inviting me. Have a good day.